Hey, welcome to a special edition of Bald Guys Talking Football, live at Dave Kochanowski's house. And we're talking to a special guest. This is the playoff edition, but we decided to bring somebody who got knocked out of the playoffs on this show and see his reaction. The number one point scorer in the league, Ken Fong. How you doing, buddy?
Fantastic, other than the fact that I didn't make the playoffs.
Well, okay, I told you already, the mic thing, man.
Congratulations, though, at having the most points scored. So it's amazing. I told guys at work, we had the guys score most points and didn't even make the playoffs. They didn't believe me that could actually happen.
So we'll do a special edition cheers beer of the week to Ken Fong for getting knocked out of the playoffs. Thank you, buddy.
Loser bracket.
Fuck you both.
But you got the buy. You got the buy in the loser bracket.
Yes, I got the buy. Yes. That's all that matters. I got the buy.
Who also scored more points than Niz, and she is in the loser bracket too. Just pointing that out.
All right, so beer of the week. What are you drinking today?
I'm actually not drinking any beer because I'm not in the playoffs, and I'm so disappointed that I need to drink myself into a stupor. So I'm doing some White Walker here.
So do you know anything about the White Walker? Can you tell a little story about it?
About the drink or about the actual White Walker from the show?
Okay, so I don't know if you've done that. Have you put it in the freezer yet?
Yes, I have.
Yeah, when you put it in the freezer, it actually changes.
Hence, you can see the blue.
Well, explain that to me. I don't know.
So it was a special edition for the last season of the Game of Thrones. And what it is when you put it into the freezer, it changes colors and you can see the White Walker in the Johnny Walker's face. It's a Johnny Walker Black, just essentially with that capability.
Ooh, fancy. How's it taste?
Smooth. Like to Niz's point, I mean, it does taste like a Johnny Walker Black. So, but it's good.
On the rocks.
It is on
a
couple rocks. I'm hoping that I'm disappointed I didn't get one big ball.
That's what she said.
Yes. That's what Sean said when he fucked me in the ass. Yes.
Oh, he got all the balls.
Yeah, balls.
Did everything in.
So Dave and I have a special. We've been talking about doing this for a couple weeks. We were saving up on some beers. Dave has a really special rare beer that it's very hard to get. So you got to get tickets to this event. It's called Dark Lords. I'll let you explain it. I'm explaining it.
So people go across the country for this. It's grown and grown. It's from Three Floyds, and basically they release this once a year. You get an allotment. It's one of those rare events that people will put this up on eBay and stuff. This bottle is not as rare. It's probably worth about $100. I had one earlier this year, which was a variant of this, which was a Neapolitan that was worth about $300 or $400 just for a bottle of beer because they only brew it once a year and they limit the amount of releases that they'll do with it. So basically a motor oil, dark imperial Russian stout. And we were saying Eric hasn't had Dark Lord, so this is busting the cherry. This is the third one I've had, and I've had a lot of beers, so it's pretty rare to get. And then we're comparing it up against his beer of the week.
2019, just released Bourbon County Stout from Goose Island. So this is the one that Black Friday, I got to give a little ode to my wife who went out and at 3:30 in the morning to go stand in line at Binny's, was the 8th person in line to get me a haul. She got every single release for this year, so it's really cool. I got a bunch of specialty bottles. This is just the regular one, but they do a whole bunch of variants and stuff. So this is the beer connoisseurs wet dream. So
yeah. So
we're doing a comparison.
Fun beers.
Yep.
Fun beers.
Double fisting. So we don't know where we're going to be at the end of this podcast because we're both drinking pretty heavy beers.
And we had a starter beer for setup too. So.
Oh, that's cute.
Yeah.
So we're not going to really do a 2-minute drill. We're just going to talk about the matchups last week, and we'll get right into it and talk about everything that went down. Ken, we'll start with yours, just because you're on this show, and it was kind of an interesting matchup. You went up against my wife, who ended up having the most points of the week, right? How many times? I went back and I counted. You went up 3 out of the last 4 weeks against the number one
top scorer. Yes, I
scorer.
know.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
thanks for bringing it back up here. You know what? Every time you bring up a bad memory, I'm going to take a sip.
127 points to 92.76. It was only your second time of the year scoring under 100. Basically, Galladay had a big day for her. Jeffrey had a big day. Russell Wilson finally did something. And then you were pretty consistent. Edelman, Cup, McCaffrey, Barkley, Breeze, all in double digits, but Breeze only getting 11.26. So, Ken, this is your platform. Go ahead, talk. How do you feel about that loss?
Hey, so we're talking about fantasy football here because I'm on this show to talk about Johnny Walker here and how I'm enjoying it. No, so yeah, Breeze scoring 11 points really hurt. But I looked at it again and I said to myself, hey, even if I had the perfect lineup in there, I still wouldn't have beaten her. So her team did phenomenal. Looking at your team, if your team would have scored, just an extra, 20 points or so, you would have beaten Sean.
Not even.
But yeah, not even that. And hey.
If Tyler Lockett would have just done what he was projected to do instead of throwing up a goose egg because he had the flu. Yeah. So we'll go into that next matchup. It was me versus Sean. This is basically what made the playoffs the way it was. Going into the end of the week, I had into the last game of the week, I had 98.68 points, and Sean had a 111.82, and it ended up that way because Tyler Lockett, instead of scoring the 14.63 that he was projected, hit 0. He found out afterwards that he was suffering from a pretty bad flu, so not sure why he was out there, but I felt really good with Mostert having a 23.4 point game, and Sanders scoring well, and Matt Ryan scoring well. Basically, it was Devontae Parker was the one who killed me. So 32.4 out of him, and Derrick Henry. So thanks, Dave, for trading Sean.
Yeah, let's quit calling it Sean's team.
It's Dave too.
Let's call it my team. And I've done this to the league, and I apologize. I did it to myself. I should have kept these players because I would be PJ going into the playoffs, as opposed to PJ now, who I don't know. PJ could be the beginning of the end. We're going to see. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So PJ, kind of a disappointing week out of the big guy there. He only scored 70.6 points. Couldn't beat Little Simba. Little Simba, Dom, 89.46. Would have lost to most teams, but somehow PJ scored like 50 points less than he normally does. So a lot of it was Evans not showing up, DJ Chark. I don't know about this Minshew switch there. I don't know if DJ is going to be as good as he has been for him. Aaron Jones, touchdown dependent, and somehow Miami shut down Zach Ertz, and Philadelphia lost to Miami. So kind of a crazy game there. Yeah.
Yeah, I look at both those teams, and I'm asking myself, how are those teams in the playoffs? And I'm sitting outside looking in.
And scoring's gone down these last few weeks. Like we haven't seen the 150, 160. I think somebody scored like 170 or 80.
Well, Laura was the top at 127.
No, yeah, I'm just saying. So like scoring's down. Things have definitely changed. That's why I look at and I've had those good seasons where you just rip through I'm sorry, Ken. I don't mean to bring this up. Where you have a great regular season and then you just start falling apart towards the end. My question is when PJ rips off that many wins in a row, when does the losing start? So I'm not saying he's going to lose. He's got a great team, but that's a little disconcerting when you back into the playoffs that way.
Let's talk about the other two teams I would have beaten last week. Dave versus Scott. 94.26. Scott, Dave ended up winning to secure his bye. Congratulations.
I got the bye. When I told Eric he had nothing to worry about. I don't know why you're talking about losing the bye.
90.54 for Scott. I think it's almost like a cautionary tale, like with my team, Scott team, your team. You ended up taking over the Saquon deal, but Scott paid a lot for Saquon. I paid a lot for Kamara, and like both have underperformed big time, and it's cost our seasons. Like I was telling Dave, like we had an off conversation on it. Like the big reason why I'm not as dominant as I am is because I'm not getting the extra 10 or 15 points that I expect out of Kamara. He's scoring 15, 12 points a week, which is solid, but I expect that out of an RB2. Barkley, the same situation, sort of knocked you guys out. Like, does that change how we draft next year?
Ken?
No, it does not change how I draft next year.
No, because Barkley got hurt.
You know what? I look at my team and I'd still go into any fantasy matchup with the team that I have, and I still feel like I have a fighting chance.
Well, but you're walking in with McCaffrey, so like you got McCaffrey at a good deal. Like I'm saying for the regular drafters, if like both Kamara and Barkley should be on the block next year, what do they go for? Are they still going to go for $88, $89?
I think so. I think it's still going to go pretty high just due to the fact that they are, top running backs with an established history of high performance. Yeah, I might, with Barkley, I think it's due to his injury, but I don't think that really changes the dollar amount that people would be willing to pay for him. Not
hindsight being 2020, do you wish you had Chubb back?
No, I don't think looking at it, Chubb would have not helped.
No, I agree with that. I just obviously the long-term ramifications of it'd be nice to have him as opposed to lose Saquon. So
agreed. Yeah, I mean, if you're looking at for this year, of course, looking at it, yes, I would love to have Chubb back, but same token, I don't regret that trade at all.
No, and you shouldn't. I was jealous of that trade and you got Keenan Allen out of it. I thought you definitely won on that trade, and I thought it was going to sell you through.
I think the biggest, you knew Saquon wasn't going to produce for a little while. It's Keenan hasn't really done anything until like last week,
Yep. Keenan's been down, and I think that's perfect storm, right? I mean, at the end of the day, I don't think that if you look at my matchups, I mean, I still 2 out of the 4 weeks I've lost, I've still scored over 100 points. Actually, 3 weeks out of the 4 weeks, I think, over 100 points. Sometimes you're just unlucky, and that's what happened with me. So
it's the same thing with me. I'll tell you right now. I'm pretty sure if I reviewed the numbers, that trade was a wash or a plus to Sean over me. So I would go back and be like, I'll keep what I gave away.
Goodwin for 2 years
at $20. And what's his face on Cleveland's been killing it. He finally did what I drafted him to do. Yeah, I'm like, what the? And frickin' Henry. So, yeah, that one hurt because those are long-term people. So
he got all the long-term stuff.
Yeah, he did. So good for Sean.
So, division winner, Sean. We should call him.
The one that's going to get a big smack on the ass, Sean.
So we got my matchup for next week is Brad versus Memo. Brad beat Memo. Memo scored over 106 points. I think a lot of that was Patrick Mahomes. D.D. Westbrook showed up a little bit. That's because he has Nick Folk back. And then he picked up Penny. He had Penny for 24.7 points. And then the big ones on Brad's team, Devontae Adams, Todd Gurley, Myers. So, Brad's got a solid team. I'm worried this week, but, yeah, Brad was the better of the two.
Who you got, Ken? Brad or Niz?
We'll get to it.
Oh, okay. Well, we don't have to talk about because there's, Ken's on a bye next week, so we don't need to talk about the loser bracket.
So I just like to point out, you started tanking once you changed your team name, by the way.
Yeah, you did.
No, actually, I started tanking after I stopped changing my name on a weekly basis. Think about it. Take a look at it. If you look at I think it started out with me feeling bad for Maddie's team, and after that, I didn't change my name for like the next 2 weeks, and I've lost. And guess what? I changed my name last week, and I still lost. So you know what? Fuck it. I have nothing to say other than you know what? Got unlucky.
Crazy.
So do we even need to talk about this matchup? Darren versus Maddie. Darren won 116 to 106. Basically, James White showed up for a week. Like, congratulations. It just made Maddie the 11th place versus the 10th place. So
what does he got to do to fix that team? He's made so many moves that's got him to 11th place.
Yeah.
So that's pretty good. He beat Memo, and almost got to Darren. So I don't know. We'll see what happens during the draft. Don't throw a wrench in his draft plans at the last minute though.
Yeah, looking at Maddie's team, I think for next year he definitely needs an upgrade at quarterback because I don't think he has anybody that's scary at all. Robert Woods had a good week. I mean, you don't expect 20 plus points from Robert Woods every week.
No, he hasn't done it this year.
So, yeah, I mean, I look at Maddie's team and it's still not a scary looking team by any stretch of the imagination. So, I mean, he has Geis for next year, Juice, sorry. But other than that, there's looking through his roster, I don't see anybody that's really scary. Oh, actually, no, he has Jacobs too.
Well, I mean, this is a very important week because this determines where we're going to be. No, wait, is it next week?
No, it's next week.
All right, where we're doing the draft at.
So, and we'll go over that a little bit. So, Ken, you being our guest, do you have a guest topic?
No, other than the fact that my team sucks and I lost and I'm not in the playoffs and I'm still a little bitter and I'm not worthy to be on this podcast. But I appreciate you guys letting me join the big boys party.
Then can you defer it to me because I've got some things I want to talk about.
Okay, well I'll defer to you then.
I'm wearing a special shirt here because it's a shirt of winners. Bears go up against the lauded Cowboys, who had a top 10 offense, top 10 defense. Dave, as the Cowboys fan over here, how'd they do?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I was stuck on the side of the road with a flat tire.
So, Dave, we'll talk about your jersey. What are you wearing today?
All stat, reversed.
So
it was all stat that way last time.
I'm thinking because of Dave's situation and him wanting to move over to becoming a Bears fan now, I think he should wear a Bears jersey. So I brought him the greatest quarterback of the Bears because he holds all the records. Jay Cutler. Go ahead.
Except for one, Niz, you forgot that there's never been a Bears quarterback or any quarterback that threw for 3 touchdowns, completed over 70% of the passes, had over 50 yards of rushing plus a rushing touchdown ever in history.
That's never, no quarterback ever.
Or won a Super Bowl. Oh, wait, there's only been one.
So, but I'm just saying, if you're going to say the greatest quarterback, with all the records, I mean, that's one record that nobody has, that only Mitch Trubisky.
Turdbitsky.
QB1 from the Chicago Bears.
I saw you picked him up this week.
I haven't picked him up. Yeah, I just placed a bid on him.
Yeah.
We'll see. I need my 3 quarterbacks. Maybe that'll bring back my mojo.
All right, so moving on to matchups of this week. Well, I guess I hadn't planned on doing it, but I guess because it matters to where we draft next year, we'll talk about the consolation bracket first. Memo's going up against Scott right now. Memo's projected to lose. He's got 21 points for the week already, but he's playing up against Scott. 110.3 versus 77.67.
And he has no flex player playing right now.
Yeah, he has no flex.
He has no flex. So, who does he have on his bench?
But he may be at the chili cook-offs, though.
Yeah. He's got Watkins. He's got some players, but who's more likely to lose here? We're not going to go over the winner because what does it really matter? They're not in the playoffs. We care more about the loser here. Where don't we want to go for? I feel like we've already done memos, so I'm actually rooting for Memo here. I want to see a Scotty hosted event here.
No, that was Memo.
Baseball.
It was
baseball because
Maddie
fucked up and we could
at the music store, and we ended up at Scotty's.
But Scotty's never hosted one, in my recollection.
No, I don't think Scott's ever hosted.
Memo's. I know we've been at Memo's house, and Memo did his one here for baseball. So
we need Patrick Mahomes to go up against New England. Oh God, that's not good. Or
hey, actually, hold on. So Patrick Mahomes, if you take a look at the matchup last week with Deshaun Watson against New England,
and Lamar too.
I mean, both
they haven't done good against. Yeah,
both quarterbacks have done pretty well against New England. So I think that I don't think New England learns from their lessons, and I think Mahomes will have a pretty stellar day.
Don't talk bad about New England. They carried me through the beginning of the season.
Well, you don't care this week. You're on a bye.
No, not this week, and I wouldn't have been playing them anyways.
So I think Mahomes will have a good day.
So everybody get out there, text Memo, put somebody in your flex. We need you to win because we want Scotty to host a party. What do you think Scotty's gonna? Between these two, Memo's doing Mexican. He threw the tacos out there last time. What are we getting out of a Scotty hosted party? What is he providing? Maybe some corned beef and hash.
I don't see that
for Irish.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know what else. Potatoes. Some type of potato.
We'll move on to the next matchup. This is really where it's most likely going to be at. Is we've got Darren versus Maddie. Darren's up at 94.86 versus Maddie's 91.49. Darren had 2 players go, so he's already got 12.2 versus Maddie's 0. I don't know.
So we could be at the Weird Irish Bar again this year.
Weird Irish Bar.
With the back.
That was fun though.
With the back house.
I had a fun time there.
No, I'm all right with it. It's a weird Irish bar, but it's a good Irish bar.
Hey, we went go to that music store again. You never know.
Where's Darren hosting?
Give our own Wi-Fi.
Where does Darren live?
Darren's in Plainfield. He's got a decent sized house.
All right.
But for some reason, I think Darren, because he hasn't been around long enough, that he's going to suggest something like Buffalo Wild Wings, and PJ's just going to flip his shit. And Ken will show up late.
PJ will be like, yeah, let's do it. I heard they'll get us a private room and everything. As you're off in the back. I bid $20. What?
I'll have to go talk to Ken for not leaving.
Ken showed up and then he left.
I'm like, fuck this shit.
Fuck
just like how I feel right now. Like, you know what? Fuck this shit. I'm not in the playoffs. Peace.
Yeah.
Go drink my drink. No, I think you know what? I think Darren's gonna pull this out. He's been hot the past couple weeks. I think he'll pull it out.
Although both these teams have, they've won their fair share of wins these last few weeks.
Yeah, fuck you, Dave. Fuck you.
All right, let's move on to the playoffs. This is the more interesting match.
Playoffs.
Who's in the playoffs? I'm not. I'm on a bye.
I'm
on Eric's bye.
So I'm playing against Sean, and you've got I'm playing against Brad. Sean's playing against Dom. We'll start off with Dom and Sean, 4th versus 5th place. Dom right now expected to win at 117.26 versus Sean's 108.63. So that's a 9-point expected victory right now. Let's take I want to break these down. Let's look at some of the matchups. Quarterback, you've got Kyler Murray versus Pittsburgh, who's been really good lately, as opposed to Carson Wentz versus New York Giants.
Who's been really bad lately.
Well, not since he got Jeffrey. He was fine.
2 weeks ago, he was horrible. He put up 3 points. I don't know. I think I'll go Wentz by a little bit.
I'm going Wentz by a lot.
And Ken?
I'm going Wentz just for the simple fact that this might be Eli's last game starting. It's always a good game with Eagles versus Giants. Come on. It's always going to be a high-scoring game. I say Wentz all the way.
All right.
We got Chris Godwin versus Indy.
Godwin.
And yeah, John Brown versus Baltimore, one of the best pass defenses out there. So I think it's an easy one. Godwin. So that's 1-1 right now for the matchups.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even an even 1-on-1. I mean, it's a QB versus a wide receiver.
Yeah.
Well,
so where do you think we are after 1-1? Where do you think we are? I still think
Godwin can put up as much as Carson Wentz, even though it's against the Giants. That's the kicker. All right, but
I think it's still even right now.
Still even.
I'm looking at it. He's got 1+ matchup against 1+ matchup.
But I like Landry. So next one's
Landry. So next one, yeah.
Landry against Cincinnati. I like Landry against Cincinnati over Hopkins against Denver.
I agree with that.
I'll take Hopkins all day. All day.
Wow.
All day. Landry's had one good game, and you guys are crowning.
He has had – holy shit. No. Don't pull that up now. Let me tell you, because I regret. His last 4 games, 10.6 against Pittsburgh, which is a tough matchup, 32.8 against Miami, 12.3 against Pittsburgh again, 20.2 against Buffalo, who's 25th ranked or 5th rank or 6th ranked defense on pass, and then throw in Denver at 14 points. So he's not too shabby. I mean, he's no Cooper Kupp, but whatever.
So a couple good games. Okay, so it's a couple good games. I mean, it's inconsistent.
He's one of the top wide receivers this year.
Here's the thing. Okay. Hopkins is going to be on one of the best. Chris Matthews Jr. is going to be on Hopkins, who's one of the best cover corners in the league. So, I don't think he's going to completely shut down Hopkins. I just think Landry against Cincinnati, who's got a sophomore high school defense playing there, it's a no-brainer. I think Landry's going to score some points.
Yeah. So I don't know. We're with wide receivers. So right now you got Dom. I think we got Sean.
Derrick Henry against Oakland, and Dalvin Cook versus Detroit. Now let's hope Dalvin Cook plays for Sean there.
He practiced today. Or for Dom, you mean?
Yeah,
he practiced today. He should be good.
The question is, so this is the thing. This is what they're saying, is they're worried they're going to pull him if they get up by too much. So that could happen to protect that investment.
They have them projected at 15.54 for Henry, 20.68 for Dalvin Cook. I honestly believe it's a closer matchup than that. I could see Derrick Henry just running all over that shitty Oakland offense or defense.
Calm down. He's not that good.
Henry? Yeah. Keep telling yourself that. What do you think, Ken? Is this like even as I think, or?
No, I think I like this. I mean, I like what you said. I think it's pretty even. I don't think that there's one that's, again, Henry he's been hot, but I wouldn't trust him over Cook. But I think it's much closer than.
Yeah, I give a slight edge to Cook.
So second running back is where it gets interesting because they actually have Kenyon Drake at 11.49. Arizona running back versus Pittsburgh defense, and Benny Snell, Pittsburgh running back versus Arizona defense at 10.78. So right now, Drake's projected to get more. I don't see that happening. I think Benny Snell's scoring 20 points here, right? Like against Arizona's shitty defense.
No, but they don't know if Connor is going to be out. Is it Connor?
Connor, yeah.
Yep, Connor, yeah.
So they don't know if he's going to be out yet. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, for right now, I would give Drake the benefit of the doubt because we don't know if Snell's playing or not. We don't know if Connor's playing or not. If Connor's playing, then Snell is, whatever, right? Yeah. But if he's starting, then I'd say that changes things a little bit.
No, I think Snell's the plus matchup here. Like in my mind. it gives Dom another plus matchup here. I see him scoring 15 to 20 points.
I don't know. I put it more at a draw, but we'll see what happens game day on that.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Dave.
So here's a more interesting one, or another interesting one.
Very
You got Devontae Parker, New York Jets, playing against the New York Jets, and DK Metcalf against LA. Now, from what I've heard, DK Metcalf versus Tyler Lockett is going to get more of the who's the cornerback on LA that they traded for?
Yeah, the one.
Jalen Ramsey.
Yeah,
Ramsey. He's going to get more of the Ramsey coverages than Lockett is. So just because how hot he's been, so I could see Metcalf not scoring a lot and Parker going off on that crappy
with what's his face, the beard,
Fitzgerald.
Thank you. I'm horrible with names.
The beard guy.
The beard.
Can someone give me an update on Tyler Lockett's flu situation? Does he still have a flu?
No, he's back.
I think he's going to score 5 points this week.
He practiced all week. I've been watching. Trust me, I'm like, because my other option is Fitzgerald against Baltimore, and I didn't want to do that. So that gets us to
tight ends, man. Your favorite.
Yeah, Austin Hooper versus Jack Doyle.
Hooper's been a beast, and he's coming back this week.
But Doyle versus Tampa, who's been the second worst defense against do you know who the worst is?
Tampa.
Arizona's been the worst defense against tight ends. Second worst has been by not that far has been Tampa. So I can see this as a pretty close matchup between the two. I don't know. Hooper definitely has the bigger upside, so I'll give the edge to Hooper, but I think it's closer.
Think it's pretty close. And then kickers and defense, whatever.
Well, I say Hooper, all the way. Playing at home against Carolina is going to be a high-scoring game. I mean, I love Jack Doyle. He won me a FanDuel game last week, but
yeah, he did awesome last week.
Kickers are hard to go by, but let's look at the defenses because San Francisco's got New Orleans, and you're going up against a Drew Brees who doesn't turn over a lot versus Philadelphia is playing up against Eli this week because Daniel Jones is out. So yeah, and I mean definitely Philly. I mean I think Philly's a better matchup right now. So I don't know. So we went over all the plus matchups. All the different things. Who you picking? It's close for me. I think it's closer than what they're saying here. But
Sean by 5 points.
Dom by 3 and 3.7. Just because I fucking hate Sean.
Just so you know, it's going to be like 25-20. That's my prediction.
I think Dom sneaks out with a 1-point win here. I think it's super close, closer than what it says. I think Dom's really worried, going into, Sunday night with Metcalf going up against L.A. and just Dom's got a slight lead and Metcalf ends up not scoring enough. So that's what I'm seeing.
Well, if Dom goes into the end of Saturday end of Sunday with a 5-point cushion or a 3-point cushion, he should feel pretty good about winning this whole thing. So, or not this week, not this whole thing. Sorry.
I think 5's a little more. If he's got a 10-point cushion, then.
I mean, he's 5-point cushion plus he has Philly D going Monday. So I think that if he's winning by 5 at the end of Sunday, I think he'll take this way. I don't think Philly will be in a minus for their D.
Okay, now we got me versus Brad. Right now, Brad's projected to win. So far, Allen Robinson's gone off for him. Scored him 2 touchdowns, 48 yards, 5 receptions. So he's at 19.3, and I'm at 5. Right now, he's projected to win 118 to 7.78 to 113.31. Let's do the same thing. Quarterbacks. We got Watson versus Denver, Jameis versus Indy.
I got Watson all the way. Easy.
I'd say it's kind of a draw, but I'll give Watson because he can run.
I think it's pretty even too. I don't feel good about Denver's defense has been really good lately, and Indy's has not been very good. So, but Winston turns over the ball a lot, so I think it's pretty even.
Allen Robinson.
I don't know.
Allen Robinson.
Michael Thomas though. Michael Thomas
not
versus
against San Fran.
Yeah, not against.
He hasn't looked good this last few weeks, so
yeah, he has. He still scored
Brees,
like 22 points last week.
yeah, but that
Brees
was
does not look good.
Yeah, no,
No.
sorry, I agree.
Okay,
Devontae Adams.
Yeah, Lockett versus Adams. I'll agree with you.
Unless Devontae has a flu.
Yeah, I almost picked up Adams for our FanDuel just because I love the matchup so much, and I kept going. I got to root against him, but like normally I'd pick him up.
Not looking good. Not looking good here.
Gurley against Seattle versus Kamara versus San Fran.
Draw. Very close. Kamara, but very close. Kamara's up then. Yeah.
I'm gonna pick Gurley.
Huh. Interesting.
San Fran's been really bad against the run, and I think it's going to be close because I think Gurley's still going to catch a lot of passes against this team. I think that's where he can, score some easy points. But I see it like Gurley scoring 17 and Kamara scoring 15. Like my guy needs to underperform, his guy needs to overperform, and I see that more likely happening. Sanders versus New York, Gordon versus Jacksonville.
Gordon.
I
think Gordon's going off against Jacksonville. I do.
Is
nope.
What's his name back starting for Philly or no? Is he still out? Then I would go Sanders.
And Sanders has been really hot. I think it's pretty even actually.
Really hot.
Oh yeah.
19. I see last week. 10 the week before.
I mean, it's kind of like Jarvis Landry hot.
Here's where I'm really worried. Andrews versus Buffalo. And I decided to play Evan Ingram. He's back from injury. You got Eli Manning, who likes to dump off a lot to him, coming back. So I went with Ingram over Ryan Griffin. I don't know what I'm going to do yet. This is my hardest decision. I might go back to Ryan Griffin. He's playing against Cincy. I keep going back and forth. I don't know what I'm going to do here.
I like Ingram.
I think your flex is worse off than that. But
yeah. This flex is not that bad.
It is.
It's not that bad.
It is. Brady is coming back. Mostert's back. It could be any one of the three.
But I got Beretta. I got Mostert. I'm gonna watch that game. Yeah, flip a coin. I think it's better than McLaurin.
You can't change during halftime.
Right, but McLaurin, you got McLaurin on his team who's got Haskins throwing to him that can't complete a ball.
Yep.
And he's playing Green Bay. I mean, like,
I agree. He should start Freeman.
I think no matter which one I play is going to outscore that.
I go Freeman.
Yeah, Scary Terry is not so scary.
I'd probably go. Could be Cooks. I don't. That's bad. Oh.
I would do Cooks as a flex over Scary Terry. I mean, just because they're playing at home, and again, I mean, I know that he hasn't been doing great, but I think he'd be doing that better than.
And he's got a bad matchup. That's tough. It's tough. All right, who you got, Ken?
Well, do you want to go over defense like we did last time?
Your defense scored 5. Doesn't matter.
He's got Houston against Denver.
Yeah, I got him at least 5. So it's a draw at worst.
Yeah. I think.
And I like his kicker.
I think Niz pulls us out by a little bit. I think Niz pulls out, by probably 5 points, right around there. I look at Brad's team, and it's just, again, very inconsistent. I don't see that team as being really scary. So, but he is in the playoffs, and I'm not, so I should just shut the F up. So,
Dave, before I make my pick.
I'm going to say this. I said as soon as you get in the playoffs, you would get bounced. I am very happy to see this bracket in my side of the division or in the bracketing. And I'm going to go Brad. Sorry. Sticking with what I said. As soon as you get in the playoffs, you're done.
I can't pick against myself. It's gonna
Do
be
it.
It's gonna be the same thing. I agree with Ken. I think it's gonna be really close, but I think I have a better team than Brad. So I gotta hope that a guy like Kamara, a guy like Michael Thomas, these studs finally step up. Like besides Devontae Adams, I don't really see the studs on his side. So I'm not scared of Gordon or Gurley. I think they're good players, but yeah.
Allen Robinson, stud.
Anyways, Ken, closing thoughts. Anything you want to say to the league before we sign off here about your consolation bracket bye?
Any rules changes you'd like to implement for next year?
No. What top point scorer automatically in the playoffs? I mean,
no. So it's been floated before. I mean, I hate to extend this podcast out any further than what we need to, but I really think we need a rule change that you get a point for a win, you get a point for being in the top 6 scorers. So you can get 2 points, you can get 1 point or no points for each week, and then top 6 at the end of the year make it.
So you wouldn't make it?
Well, I had a really good.
I looked at your numbers just so I could give you shit, and you've scored the second least in the playoffs, behind Brad, if I remember correctly. It's pretty close, and like I was looking at how many times you scored under 100 points this year, and it was a lot. It was a lot of division, so that rule would hurt you this year.
It would have, but I still probably would have made the playoffs. We'll have to do the math. We'll come back to it.
But I like that idea, Ken.
At this point, I'm still in shock. I talked to my friends at work about it. We're in a league, and I'm like, hey, top scorer, check this out. And I didn't make the playoffs, and they're like, wow, that's unbelievable.
They're like, those guys must know how to draft.
They're like, how do you not make the playoffs with the team that you have? And I'm like,
nuts.
You know what? I don't know, man.
What's the points against you?
It was the highest, I think.
Yeah, obviously it was high. It had to be to knock you out. That's nuts.
Let's see here. I could find out right now. Give me a second here. Points against was 1491.
Points for?
Points for was 1658.
Yeah, that's high. There's guys that haven't even scored 1400 this year themselves.
Yeah, there are. Brad's one of them.
Is Eric one of them?
Eric was let's see now, where's Eric? Eric was one of them. Yes, he was at 1372.
I'm not just talking out my ass.
Anyways, well, Ken, I'm certainly glad you're not in it because I really liked your team, both you and Laura. So both of you guys didn't make it, so I suck at picking. But Dave.
I'm glad you're not in it either. I'm not gonna lie. I'm glad you can take the ribbing and the joking and shit, and that's why I gave you shit the other night on the text feed because I know you can take it. So yeah,
I'm taking it hard.
Tough luck on that. I hope your walker is easing your pain. I hope it's cooling the inflammation of loss.
Final cheers.
Cheers, guys. It's been a great season.
Great season. Fun time.
Yeah. Good luck in the playoffs, gentlemen.
This has been
good luck to you too.
Bald Guys Talking Fantasy with the special guest Ken Fong. We appreciate you guys listening, and good luck, everybody.
Have a good one.